Hello. I thought while we're on this little bimble and it's in my head that I would talk about my kind of affinity with Native American Indians. Glorious day. Yes, I thought I'd just rattle this through really. Not that I know a lot, but I only know what I know. And when I was a little boy, I started to watch cowboy and Indian films. Sorry about the aeroplane, bloody row. When I was a little boy, I used to watch cowboy and Indian films, like all children did. And I always wanted the Indians to win. I thought it was just a battle between the noble savages, the Indians, and the lone traveller, the lovely white man in a cowboy hat. As a little boy. But I always had this feeling I wanted the Indians to win. Always. So I used to be quite disappointed because 99% of the films they don't. And they're shown as barbaric and evil and horrible and nasty. And I always thought there was more to them than that. So even as a little boy, I was probably 8, 9, 10, and I thought, wow, you know, they lived the way they lived through all the hardship, and they still found food and fire and shelter and medicine. They lived a lovely life, a spiritual life, quiet life. Magical people. They looked beautiful. They wore beads and colours. Far, far better than the white man looked or acted. So I always wanted the Indians to win. One year, Christmas was coming up. I used to celebrate Christmas in them days, obviously, being a child. And my mum said, what do you want for Christmas? So I said an Indian outfit. Feathers, tassels, beads. Yeah, an Indian outfit. Costume. Fancy dress, outfit. I wanted to be an Indian. So, that year for Christmas, my dear mum, bless her heart, I love you, Mum, bought me an Indian outfit. Bless you, Mum. And I was so pleased and proud, blessed, privileged. To wear this beautiful Indian outfit that my dear mum had bought me. And I wore it everywhere, at the shops, out playing in the street. I loved it. I thought I looked great. Yeah. So, Christmas led into the new year. I'm still wearing my Indian outfit, you know. And we had to go to school eventually, and I wanted to wear my Indian outfit to school. Apparently you can't learn if you're dressed different than other children, there's something that happens in your brain and you stop learning. I didn't know that, but I learnt a valuable lesson that day. So I had to put my Indian outfit away, but when I got back from school, I got changed and I became an Indian again. And I just felt real. It was like it was supposed to be. I don't know. When I was about 11, I was allowed to go to the library and choose 2 books. And I remember both of the books. The other one doesn't matter so much, but the second book I chose was, it was called something about Native American Indian tribes, something like that. Mostly pictures with a few words, and I loved it, and I wanted it. Yeah, I wanted it to be mine. But it was mine for a while. It's mine forever in my heart, so I read that book again and again and again, and dreamed of being Indian. And it just followed me around, you know. I dreamt of being an Indian. I dreamt of living in a teepee, talking a foreign language, being quiet, gentle, walking gently on the earth. Yeah, it was nice. Childhood sort of fantasies. But it was real to me for a while. I loved it anyway. As I grew up, I bought more books on Native American Indians and loved each and every single one of them. I watched films, documentaries. I felt peace. I felt peace when I was being an Indian. Who knows? I just felt some sort of peace wash through my soul. When I was about 14, I went to, well, there was a bit of a thing going on in one of my local villages, and lots of travellers turned up, New Age travellers. I wanted to go and see them all. And I got my little push bike and went and see them. There was hundreds upon hundreds of people there, and I loved it. And throughout the evening, as it got later and later, I was sat with a group of people, about 15 people. We had a fire in the middle and the smoke was going up. And the orange smoke really, orange and grey smoke, beautiful, up into the air. And it was making patterns and shapes and things. And it suddenly made this big Indian head, just in the sky. And I said, wow, I said, look up there, look everybody, look. I was just a child, they were grown men and women. They couldn't see it, but I could see it. And I explained what it was. They weren't overly interested, but I loved it. I loved it. Look at you running, go on then. More documentaries followed and books and things, and I watched whatever I could really on Native American Indians. And I had a very, very weird experience. I became very, very ill. Food! At a particular place. About 2 in the morning. Hello, darling. And I was with some friends of mine and a few people that I didn't really know. I was very, very ill. I couldn't breathe, you know, I just could not catch any breath. Weird. My heart racing out of my chest. Feeling like I'm going to vomit. You're on a laugh boat. You're all over the place, man, ain't you? Yeah, I was very, very ill. Really, really ill. I had a car. And I went and sat behind the car. It was about 2 in the morning. Cold, damp grass. God, I was burning up, sweating. Gasping for air. Awful. I thought, I don't know, am I having a heart attack or whatever? I just thought I'm going to die. You know, that was it. And I sat there and sat there. Managed somehow to drag my t-shirt off of me, so I was just bare chest, leaning up against my very cold car. About 2:30 in the morning. And I tried to breathe again and again and again. I just could not breathe. Awful. And I ended up, this is truthful, I ended up saying goodbye to a lot of people in my mind. Sending out blessings and well wishes to people. Awful. I tried to call out to my mates, I tried to stand up, I tried to do lots, and I couldn't do anything, nothing whatsoever. And all of a sudden in front of me, there was this rustle in the bushes, this noise, and I looked, and the fire was going on behind me, and the people laughing and chatting, and it was orange in front of me, orangey, grey, silver nearly, beautiful. Through the bushes there was a shape, a figure, a man. I wasn't scared, but I looked, and I thought, who's this coming to me, you know? And he just slowly came out the bushes and walked to me. And as he got nearer and nearer, it was an Indian. It was an Indian. I don't know what was, you know, going on, my imagination or what happened, I don't know. But it was an Indian. Old gnarly face, beautiful. And what he did, I can't do it because I'm holding the camera, came up fairly close to me within about 3 feet, so I saw him very clear. He put both his hands out like that and just blew on both his hands, and this thing hit me like a fucking lightning bolt in my chest and my stomach, and it hurt like hell. It went bang inside of me, and I just curled up in pain, terrible, terrible pain. But then it released, and it let me go and go and go and go and go. And that's true. Now whatever that was, I've no idea. But after a few seconds, obviously I could open my eyes. I could suddenly realise I was cold, not hot. And put my t-shirt on quickly and looked around. There was nobody there, nothing. But I could breathe. I'd stopped sweating. My heart had stopped banging in my chest. I'd stopped feeling sick and dizzy and faint and awful. I was back to living. I don't know, odd. And I don't know, I've always thought of Native American Indians. I've always thought of them, I don't know why, I always have. I've dreamt about them so many times. Daydream about Native American Indians. Anyway, a few years back I was just on Amazon, just looking at the books really. I'm a great book lover. And there was one book called Ishi. I thought, oh, I like that name. I-S-H-I. Ishi. And it was one of those books you could click to open and read a couple of pages. So I clicked and opened, and the very first words of the book was, on the 29th of August, and my ears pricked up. I thought, oh yeah. So I read a few pages. God, again it hit me like a hammer. It was about a man, an Indian, Native American, from what was the Yahi tribe in or near to California. And what had happened was the tribe was decimated really over a number of years, and it left 3 people. This man, who we now know as Ishi, I think it was either his mother or his grandmother and his uncle, something like that. It may have been 4 people, I got a feeling it was 3, but they were ambushed and all sort of ran their different ways, apart from the mum or the grandmother who died there. And the other one or two were never found. And 3 years later, Ishi had been living on his own for all that time. He suddenly walked out of the woods somewhere near to California and into so-called civilization, so-called. And they knew some of his language, they learnt some of his language. And when they asked his name, he was never given a name, so he didn't have a name. And they said, "What do we call you?" And he said, "Ishi." And Ishi simply means man. That's all it means, man. I say all. What a man. It means everything. Ishi means every last thing. Ishi has got lessons connected to it. It tells you about the white man. What happened to poor Ishi. I won't tell you, you could buy the book, couldn't you? If you want to buy any books, no, I know people are going to recommend 1,000 books to me. I've got a lot of books, but look for Ishi, I-S-H-I. A book that I've read again and again and again is Black Elk Speaks. That's Black Elk, E-L-K, Black Elk Speaks. And also Lame Deer, Seeker of Visions. Lame Deer, Seeker of Visions. It's only 3 books I'm going to recommend is Ishi, Lame Deer and Black Elk. There's another book by Black Elk that's amazing as well. And there's lots of other ones, but those 3 books is what I would recommend to you. Glorious day. So again, you know, I got to my 20s and 30s and I was still reading about Native American Indians and thinking about them. And time goes on, you know. I don't own many DVDs, but I got one called Native American Indians, The Great Wars. I've got another documentary, an older documentary with some original old footage. And for some reason I've just got this affinity with Native American Indians. I don't know what it is. But I have an infinity to lots of different things, you know. Buddhism and Buddhists and the way they live. Pagans and this beautiful landscape. And beautiful sky. And lots of other things really. So I'm kind of multifarious, I'm all over the place really. But I've never been one to go down one path, follow one thing, believe something and say that's it. But for some reason, Native American Indians have touched my heart. And they still do. And I got a feeling that in December 1992, an Indian saved my life. It's weird. So there you go. I can't say any more than that really. But it might give an idea, some kind of insight as to the person I am, maybe. You know, I'm a Buddhist, but I am a pagan. And perhaps part of me, 1%, is Native American Indians in some way. It's not in a, you know, as in DNA. There's nothing like that. I used to do genealogical research and traced a wedding back to 1572, so a long way. Come on, boat! Come on! Come on! There he comes. And you know, we're British through and through. Actually, I should say we're English, really, through and through. We're not even British. You know, for those that don't know, in America or whatever, it's a weird whole thing, really. Being British, because that's what you call us, don't you? You little old Brits and you little old Britain and stuff like that. Britain obviously is 4 countries. It's England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales. You know, it's a funny old thing, really, that to split our tiny little pocket of land up like that. It's crazy, but whatever. So I'm not Scottish or Irish or Welsh. I am English, so I am from like the main part, the middle part of the UK, the United Kingdom. It's funny, isn't it? You know, if somebody said, where do you live? I could say the United Kingdom and they would know what I mean. If they say, where do you live? I could say Great Britain. They would know where I mean. If they say, where do you live? I'd say Britain and they know where I mean. If they say, where do you live? I'd say England. And they know what I mean, but it's all the same. Everything's the same. You know, do you have different names? If you're born in California, that's California, isn't it? Or do you call it something else? Anyway, so Ishi walked out of the forest in California. Anyway, Joshua in the woods. It's kind of for you and several other people who's asked, really. But thank you very much, Joshua, for doing a bit of singing for the land. I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and if it was longer, somehow I'd learn to cut it and make a little 3 or 4 minute track of it, and I would listen to it again and again and again. I'm just saying that, you know. Right, so there you go. I hope I've kind of covered that. Any questions, please don't ask, because I can't be bothered. I don't know much about American Indians, not really. I just know that there's something there. Bodie! Stop bloody licking! Look, come here! Come here! Right, good boy! I keep asking you not to lick, darling, right? That bitch in the crown may have dropped her knickers there. We know that, so please be very careful. You don't want to drink anything off of there, dirty cow. Right. Take care then. And thank you for listening. Be well.